Okay guys, in order to help with everyday male life, we've created a bunch of products here at 1STMAN. The first one is the testosterone friendly body wash in a glass bottle and with testosterone friendly ingredients. The second one is the men's lifestyle supplement containing every single ingredient that a man would need on a daily basis. Next up, we have our natural diuretic supplement, which is used to get rid of like water and waste around the body and in the face, etc. to make you a little bit more defined, which is what the product is called. Now this is going out of stock very soon. We're currently having a sell-off because it's a seasonal product. Replacing this will be a testosterone dedicated product using 4 ingredients that have been proven via studies. We've also got the Male Advantage book that I've written. We've got that in 3 formats. So we've got the paperback, as you just saw, and we've got that in ebook and audiobook format, which are variable prices. We've also got our Better Looking Man course, all the things that you can do to change the way you look, your body, your face, etc. Touching on body, we've got our Fitness and Diet Plan ebook. And finally, guys, we've got our body language course, which breaks down everything you need to know about body language in terms of business, in terms of attracting women, being the most confident guy in a group. And at the end of the video, I break down my own body language in 2 separate scenarios so that you can see what's good and what's bad and how it changes the same individual. Now back to the video you came here to watch, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back to another video. So nice to be back. I've got a real, don't know what I'm doing here. I've got a real passion again. Like I feel like all my fire is back. It feels so good. Like every box has been ticked. All these products. Remember? Let's just go back. Then when I said to you guys, I was having a bad business day and I did the video on it. And I was like, I guarantee in a few weeks time or a month's time, I'll be on camera saying life's so good, guys. That's what I wanted to show you. I didn't actually plan that out, but that's what I wanted to show you guys. To show you like how business goes up and down and whatever in life in general. But all you ever see online is like the good times and how well people are doing. But you very rarely see someone going through shit and being like, hey, struggling this month, struggling this week. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very rare that you see that online these days. So yeah, things are great now, guys. So you can see that, you know. So it's up and down. So never feel bad if you're having a down day and whatever. It happens to me too, okay? Now, guys, do you remember? This is like a throwback. I'm fucking loving this. It's cold. It's raining. I'm back in front of the camera. It feels like I'm back in that old garage again that you guys used to love. And it's just content crazy. Do you remember when I used to do those 2-parters? When I used to say, oh, this video is going to start with this point and then we're going to move on to this other point. We're going to explain this, then we're going to move over to the screen and shit like that. That's one of these videos again. I don't think we're going to move to the screen because it would just be easier for me to show you guys. But it's nice. It's nice to be getting these fresh ideas again and coming up with these things. But here's the topic of the video, guys. It's going to sum it up. I'm a 30-year-old man now. When I started making all these videos, like properly on YouTube, I was about 24 years old, I think. 25, maybe. See, I was like 20, 21 when I first did it, but I wasn't on camera. But a lot of like the guys that are following now, you would have seen me when I was 25, okay? All I wanted was, you know, the women that were like 19, 20, 21 years old. Do you remember that, guys? So it's nice now that I've evolved as a person. And it's not that I'm thinking differently. It's that I found a lot of stuff out. Okay, so that's basically the topic of this video. But like I said, it's going to be a 2-parter. It's going to be a 2-parter. So the first part, guys, I want to talk to a lot of you guys out there that are feeling insecure. You're worried, you're panicking, Here's the big one. You think you're going to be single forever. I see this. I see this a lot. People in the comments from day one till now. You know, you've always said to me, but what happens if I don't get a woman by this age? Is anybody ever going to want me? Am I going to be single forever? And stuff like that. I find the concept, I understand it, but I find the concept somewhat hilarious. Because at the age I am now, I've seen relationships come and go. Okay? And the only statistic which is proven, which you can go and search on Google now yourself, that you need to know is that 90% of relationships that get together before the age of 30 end. Okay? Yeah, there's 10% that get through, but basically, guys, that is telling you it probably won't fucking work in the 20s anyway, right? So teens, 20s, some guy steals your dream girl, she's 22 years old, they get together and you're like, oh, she's off the market, she's gone forever, it's broken my heart. 2 years later, he proposes to her because he thinks, wow, what a catch. By 28 years old, they're divorced, she's back on the market, right? Now, what a lot of guys will say to me there is, yeah, but you're now picking her up when she's older. She doesn't look as good anymore. He got the best years out of her. The Chad did, and then got rid of her, and all this stuff, right? And her body count's gone up, and all this stuff. Which is, look, it's understandable. All of us would love to be with a woman that's never been with any other man. I think that's just a badge of honor as a man, isn't it? She's never slept with anybody except me. I basically own that woman. Nobody's ever seen that pussy but me. It's a nice old school primitive feeling, right? But the point I'm trying to make with the point that I made just prior to this of saying that by 28 years old she's divorced and she's back on the market is that never stops. Okay, that never stops. People go into a relationship, they come out of one. They're seeing somebody, now they're not. They get married, they're then divorced. Like, the point I'm making is it doesn't matter what stage you're at in your life. It doesn't matter what age you are. There's so many people on planet Earth that somebody is always becoming re-available. Okay, somebody is always going through a divorce. Somebody is always... Like, here's the thing. Guys panic. There might be a guy watching this now who's 35 years old. Or who's 18 who's going, oh shit, if I get to 35 and I'm not, whatever. So it's going to appeal to everybody. We've all been in this scenario where we've panicked. You might be a 35-year-old man and you think, hey, my days are gone. You might be panicking about turning 35. My days will be numbered by then. I need to find somebody quick. Imagine now you get to 35, or you are 35, and there's a 29-year-old woman who only has a body count of 1, which is the guy that she was married to. And she's just got divorced. She was like, I rushed into that at 19. That was silly. He wasn't right for me. I found that out now. It's time to get on with my life. You then meet her. And she's stunning. She's switched on. She's got a decent job. Because she got married young, she didn't go out and do all the partying things. She still looks 10 years younger than she should. And you're like, wow, what a catch. No kids. She's married. Body count of 1. Oh my God, yeah, this is a perfect scenario for me. Never forget that, guys, okay? There's always somebody coming out of a relationship. And I think guys have got this thing where it's like, once it's off the market, it's gone. People are like houses. Somebody buys it, they then want to sell, they want to get something different. It doesn't... Here's the thing, you move into your dream house. 5 years later, you're like, I can't live here anymore. It doesn't suit me. You know, in 10 years... Here's the thing, probably most of you watching this are young. You probably want like a New York penthouse, an LA mansion, something crazy, right? In 20 years' time, you'll be going, no, we need a nice, safe house in a nice, safe, gated community next to some great schools. Your mind just changes. Okay, it's the same with properties as it is with people. People constantly change. A girl gets in a relationship with the most handsome guy. 5 years later, she's like, God, he's an idiot. I just never really figured it out. So she comes back on the market. Okay, you're a little bit older, but so's she. It's like... There's always somebody. There is always somebody. Now, a point I've made before, this might be a 3-parter to be fair, but a point I've made before is that women don't age very well and men do. Now, as a base note, there's logic to that. As a base note, men do age better than women, right? And if the caveat to this is anybody who puts work in is going to look good. So... if there's a man and a woman, they get together at 18, they both go to the gym, eat healthy, live a clean lifestyle, not doing drugs every fucking weekend, going to bed early, they've got a great routine, they make the best of themselves. When they get to 30, they're both going to look amazing. Of course, it's impossible not to. They're both going to look pretty good. I would argue, though, that he looks a little bit better. Because it just suits men. It just works better, okay? So there's that to take into account. Everything that I've said before is true. You know, the woman will just... She can work as hard as she wants. She will just fade very slightly. And this isn't a shitting on women video. I don't do them and I fight against it, as you guys know. But in reverse, it'd be the same scenario that at 18, it doesn't matter how hard a guy works, he just won't look as good as that 18-year-old girl. You know, all the way up to probably like 25 where the tables get turned. And it's almost like level playing field. You know, maybe still in the female favor because the guy hasn't got the money yet. I think, yeah, maybe like 28. 28 is like the turning point, okay? It's a little bit different. But here's the thing, guys, okay? And this is basically the part 2 that I wanted to lead into. I've dated a lot of younger women. You know, I always said to you guys I was going to do it. I was like, I'm going to get to a certain level, and then I'm going to date, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to, you know, just see what's out there. I ticked the boxes that I wanted to tick. It was great. It was a lot of fun. There were, you know, a lot of like beautiful 21-year-old women. The best personalities, as I always told you guys, were on the older women. But who, with no disrespect, there's a lot of beautiful 40-year-old women out there, but nobody really wants to be with a 40-year-old woman. Unless you're a 60-year-old man. Then you're probably like, hey, this is great. This is exactly what I'm looking for. But they're the best people. They've got the best personalities. You can sit down and have a conversation with them. Now, I'm a 30-year-old man. Let's add to that, okay? And I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just stating facts. I'm a successful, accomplished, mature, intelligent 30-year-old man. It's very hard for me to sit down with a 19-year-old girl and have a very smart conversation, a very engaging conversation. She doesn't understand my life. She doesn't get my business. She doesn't get what I'm trying to achieve. She doesn't understand like where my mind's at and the things I've been through and how I've got to the position that I'm in. She's going to think it's easy for me to be successful, put it that way. Oh, you've got money? Yeah, I don't care. Like, if you should do at your age. It's that sort of mentality, and they don't quite appreciate the little things. Now, the thing is, it's not her fault. She's young. I was the same when I was young. Well, I was a bit different because I went through a lot of shit, but I wasn't who I am now. Okay, and I don't blame anybody for being 19 years old, 20, 21 years old, and not understanding certain things yet. That comes with time, it comes with maturity. But what those women were stunning. You know, unbelievable bodies, beautiful faces, etc. The sex is great. So then you've got this fucking balance, where you're like, well, these women are young and beautiful, and then you've got the older women who have got unbelievable personalities, but it's not really sustainable, is it? What are you going to do? Have kids with a 44-year-old woman because she's got a great personality? Might not even work. Might not even check out. She might have 4 of her own and she doesn't want another one. Do you see what I mean? She's looking for something else. She's looking for that retirement man who might be 50. So in my opinion, and I think I've said this on the channel before, the best women are the ones that have the balance of both. Okay, so the balance of both is like, and this feeds into point 1. This is why I'm bringing this up, because guys always say, oh, I'm getting too old. Oh, I'm 37 years old. You know, I'm not going to be able to get a young, beautiful woman anymore. But by 37, or especially if you guys are like 19 and you're going, yeah, but in my 30s I won't be able to attract them anymore, so I need to get them now. It's a stupid statement. And again, I don't blame you for it because you're young, but it's a stupid statement because you don't know who you're going to be. You're going to mature, you're going to evolve. So you're going to get to, let's say, 35, 36, 37 years old, and you're going to want different things. You're going to go and date a young 21-year-old woman, and you're going to be like, she's stunning, but it's just getting on my nerves. It's driving me nuts. It doesn't work. The conversation isn't great. The age gap is too big. Now, I'm a big advocate of about roughly a 10-year age gap. I think it works great. But there's a maturity issue that I've found out over the last few years. And I think any woman under the age of... Look, it can't be all women, because all women are different. My last girlfriend was 19 when I was 25, and she was as mature as anybody. But there is a maturity issue with women under the age of, I'd say, 24. I'd say under the age of 24, 25. There's a maturity issue, and it's not all, but it's great when I was 25, 26, 27, whatever. But now that I'm 30, you know, of course I can date women in that bracket, and I still do. But there's obvious flaws, okay? And over time, they're going to get better at that, which is great. But should I suffer for 2-3 years until she gets there? That's the scenario, okay? That's the catch-22. So as I've always said to you guys, I think the best bracket of women that blend the two together are 24 to 29. I think that's the perfect blend of like beauty mixed in with maturity, life skills, experience. It's ideal. It's ideal for moving forward. And it's going to give you a much better benchmark, because I'm at an age now where any woman that I date or sleep with, especially sleep with, I've got to be sure that she could be the mother of my children. You know, would I be comfortable with her having my kids, raising my kids? Because there's a possibility that, you know, that could happen. If you're having sex with somebody, there's a possibility of that. And if that's not a consideration, why are you having sex with that woman? That's almost primitive and meaningless. So, you know, that's got to come into consideration. And I'm at that age now where I can enjoy myself, but it's hard to waste time, guys. It's hard to waste time and just be like, see, waste time's the wrong term. It's hard to waste my time. I'm not talking about lifetime. I'm talking about my time. My time is precious now. The time that I lose, I make money. You know, I'm losing money, sorry. Like, I could be making money in that time. I could be doing something fun and productive. If I'm dating a woman that I really have no interest in, but I just think she's hot and the sex will be great, well, that's not ideal. It's fruitless. It's going nowhere. It's like starting a non-profit business. You're just like, fuck, is this gonna go? Yeah, we're helping people, but like, fuck me. I got to pay the bills, right? There's just no sustainability in that. So every woman the age that I'm at now has to have some substance. And that bracket from 24 to 29, and I'll bring, look, a little bit older as well, but I'll bring some women up on screen now that I found that are within those age brackets into their 30s too, that still look unbelievably stunning. They look fantastic. Like any guy would date them tomorrow. And it's just to show you guys that it doesn't matter what age you get to, there will always be a top tier of women within that age bracket that are looking for also a top tier guy who is just a couple years older. Because women always date guys who are slightly a few years older, a little bit more experienced than them, you know, further down the path in life. It just works really well for them. So for the guys that are like, oh, if I got to 40 and I was still single, it's like, there's no reason if you were 40, you were in shape, you look fantastic, you were successful, you dress well, you smell good, that you can't date one of these beautiful 29-year-old women that I'm bringing up on screen now. A nice little 10, 11-year age gap, works perfectly. She's beautiful, experienced, the conversation's fantastic. You're a few years older, you don't want the craziness anymore. She's just entering her 30s and probably wants to have kids. Do you know what I mean? There's a scenario for everybody. Now, she's just come out of a 5-year relationship. You thought she was off the market forever. Oh, that girl's gone. Bang, she's back on the market. It now suits your age bracket. It's perfect. And this is why I just think guys should stop panicking so much. Just stop panicking about relationships and love and whatever. Because it feeds into my concept of men are living life in reverse. Remember I told you guys that you're living on the female timeline. You're trying to get married quick. You're trying to settle down quick. Hey, I'm 23. These girls won't want me soon. It's the stupidest mentality ever. Mainly because it's going to fuck up your finances. And what I mean by that is, if you're too focused on finding love, relationships, settling down, you're not focused on all the shit that I did. Which was, I knew I had time. Men have time in general. It's the male advantage. You're always going to, once you hit like 28, as long as you're successful and you're in shape, you're at the top for like the next 30 years, 40 years. It's so fucking easy, right? But that's why I worked my balls off, because I knew that was coming. And I knew that if I didn't work hard in my teens and 20s, I wouldn't be set up well for that. But so many guys are going, I need a relationship, I need to settle down, I need marriage, I need whatnot. And then they're finding that they're getting to that critical age kind of bracket into the male advantage years and going, I've got nothing to show for it. I've got no money. She wants to leave me now. And I had a conversation with a friend that was here the other day, and I said, what a lot of guys do is they chase the women their own age and they can't get them because they're not established yet. Because they wasted so much time chasing these women their same age, when they got to 30, they're so broke and their life hasn't been built or established yet that the women that are their age and the women that are younger still don't want them. So it's like you missed out on both. And now by the time you put your life in order, you're probably going to be 40 years old, which is fine. It's fixable, but you've just missed like the best 10 to 12 years. So this is why I'm warning you guys about this. This is why I'm making this video. This is why I'm, dividing it up and talking about each little component, because you guys need to be aware of this, that as a man at 30 years old, I can date women who are probably 26 years old for the next 15 years, okay? And it would be socially acceptable. And it would work too, because she would be established, she would be mature enough, she would get it, she would understand it, she's got those years on the board, she's been in a 9-to-5 job, she's struggled, she's moved out, paid her own rent, etc. Yet she's still beautiful because she's 26 years old, which is what I've proven with some of the images that I've brought up. Now, there's a youthful innocence and a level of beauty where the eyes are a little bit brighter, the skin's a bit brighter, everything pops a little bit more, the limbs are just ever so slightly smaller, everything's just perkier, it just works better. And I don't want to go into detail because it makes you sound like a creepy weirdo, but there's those traits with younger women, women from like 18 to like 23. It's hard to compete with them in terms of beauty. You might see a girl on Instagram, and some of the ones I'm bringing up now, it might, might blow your mind. Don't masturbate, guys. It's a First Man video. It's weird. Just think of me if you go to masturbate over these girls. I don't want to like trigger anybody who's doing well. Especially, are we still in November? It's no fap November, so don't fuck it up. But yeah, you're gonna look at some of those girls and you're gonna see the difference. Okay, they're stunning. You might see a girl on, you might see a girl on Instagram who looks like this. This is where I got those photos, and you'll go, "Wow, she's unbelievable. That's my dream woman." Okay, well, I've been telling you guys that of the girls that I've been dating, they're the type that are getting DMs from rappers and footballers and stuff like that. Okay, so I haven't dated any of the women that I just shown you, but I've dated women that I believe are on that level that look like that. It's not as great as you think it is, okay? You first meet them, you have sex, it's great, you're walking through public, everyone's like thinking this guy's the man, they're staring at you, it's a nice little ego trip, but as a 30-year-old man, I'm telling you, it just got annoying. There was no substance. Now, there might be one in 50 that you date where you go, she's well more mature, like she's not 19. She's got the personality of a 39-year-old woman. This fucking works, this is fantastic. You get that occasionally, but it's so rare. It's so rare, okay? And like I said, as a 30-year-old man, I can tell you that that blend of still having a good level of beauty, yet having some years on the board, is perfect. And I personally think the guy should date within that bracket. I think that's the perfect bracket for women. Like 24, 25, up to like 29. Okay, and you can see on, some of the images I had up earlier, women in their 30s that still look fantastic. But you ideally, and it's going to sound a little bit rude, but it's factual. People shoot the messenger, but it's true. The reason men like younger women, is because you've got the submissive element, everything's softer. They did I'll bring back to my point that I was going to make in a second. But they did a study before where they showed men who weren't pedophiles and stuff like that, they showed them pictures of female body parts, and they just said, which one do you like the most? Turns out the body parts that they like the most, just normal guys who are married, whatever, good range of guys, the body parts they like the most belong to 14-year-old girls. It's shocking, it's a bit worrying, but they didn't know. So at the same time, what it tells us is that men just like youthfulness. They like the kind of youthfulness, the softness, the smaller limbs or whatever it might be, just that it just exudes youth, submissiveness, something like that, okay? It's just, that's what it tells us. It's a slippery slope. It's a dangerous thing to talk about, but, that's basically what it tells us, okay? So there's that element of it. But bringing it back to my point, the reason that I think, it makes more sense for men to want a younger woman is you get more years of beauty. Okay, so if you settle down with a woman who is stunning, who is 35 years old, and she's got the best personality ever, she's a little bit older, more established, more experienced, and you're like, this is great, you might have 5 years tops because she's going to age quickly, okay, which, You know, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about the personality. But you don't want to be in a scenario where you're looking at her and you're like, I just don't find you attractive anymore. That happens. It's a realistic scenario. It has to be taken into consideration. So if you find a woman who is, like I said, 25, 26, I mean, she might have like 15 years. She might have 10 years where she still looks unbelievably beautiful. And then 5 where she slightly fades. And then she's the wrong side of 40. But at that point, you're like in your early 50s, and it's all about kind of personality, how she makes you feel. You know, you've got kids together and stuff like that. That's ideal. That's the ideal scenario. You know, so with my theory, you know, of, because I'm not at that age yet, but with my theory of the 10-year age gap, why could you not be, like, if I'm a 30-year-old man dating women that are in there who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever, that points to, and you know, we see it in society all the time, that points to getting to, let's say, 35 and dating women that are 25. Perfect scenario. Perfect scenario. And a 25-year-old woman will be interested in a much older man because it becomes wildly more socially acceptable, and she also realizes by that age, I know what I need. Now, she might get it from a 28-year-old guy. He might be experienced. But it's much more likely, and you know, I see this in the women that I date. They date guys who are in their 30s. Okay, there's like any girl I know who's 23, 24, 25, 26, they're dating guys that are in their 30s because it's the only way they're going to get, you know, the guys who have got the money. And it's not that women are after money, they're after a guy who's built something decent. And he's probably the only one who's got the level of confidence to believe that he can get that woman. So he's probably approaching them, you know, and the younger guys just don't really want to go over. They're like, oh yeah, but I don't look good and stuff. The guy who's older, more established, goes over. He's got a high end job, making millions every single year. He's in board meetings with top level professionals. He doesn't care. He's going over. He's going to have a chat. It works. Okay, so the point I'm making there is, if you guys are panicking, I'm getting older. Oh, I'm 26 years old. If I don't find somebody soon, I never will. I'm creeping up 30. Nobody's going to want me. All the good girls have been taken off the market. You're going to get to like 35, and there's going to be young 25, 26-year-olds who are beautiful. They've got the they're just, you know, they've got everything as a combination. You know how I talk about the male advantage? A guy gets to 37, and it's like the perfect blend of everything. So he's still in good shape. He's still young enough, but he has money. Like everything comes together all at one point. It's like the central point where everything works. For women, that's about 25, 26. It's like where she's still young and beautiful, but she has shit going on. She's figured out her style. She's no longer dyeing her hair, you know, bright reds and, you know, wearing the most inappropriate clothing. Like, she's classy now, okay? And it's like that gap. So you get to 35 years old and you're dating a woman from that age bracket, right? And you want to really enjoy yourself. Well, all the women that settled down in their 20s, ready? 90% of relationships before the age of 30 will break down. Okay, just won't work. So all those girls that you apparently missed out on when you were in your teens and 20s, and you were like, she's just got married. Oh fuck, I'll never be able to be with her. She's just got in a relationship with a guy who's way better than me. You'll be in your 30s and all, like 9 out of 10. I'll tell you what, let's make it sound crazy. 900 out of 1,000 of those women, they're back. They're back at it. They're back on the market. It's mental. I know girls that are absolutely stunning, that have been in relationships for like 6, 7 years. They're talking about marriage and kids and whatever. And out of the blue, one day it falls apart. Relationship over. She's back on the market. She's 29 years old. Body count of 2 or 1 because she's been with that guy for so long. She's absolutely gorgeous. You know, she now has a better understanding of what she really wants in life. She's like, I've learned a lot from that relationship. I'm going to take that forward into my next one. You get that. You're next in line. You're like, hey, that's mine now. I've established myself. I've put myself in a position where that's mine. You could do that till you're fucking 50 years old. You know, you could be 50 dating women that are like 33, 32, 33, that are as stunning as the girls that I brought up, who've just come back on the market. Oh, like, we're about to have kids and everything. We just had a failed relationship. And you're just like, you know, I never got around to it, so I'd like to do it now. Do you know what I mean? You could have froze your sperm, or you're still operating down there, still working well. is plausibilities, right? So like I've thought for myself, okay, that I always thought that, hey, I'd be like 30 years old, I'd find a woman who's 21, I'll settle down, we'll build something great, and then by 35, whatever, I'll have kids. I just thought, yeah, it just works perfectly. But then, like I said, the maturity gap's missing. So then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why don't I just enjoy myself for a few more years? I'm at my peak, I'm enjoying it, this is great. Like let's just date women within that bracket for like the next fucking 10 years of my life. Not even a problem. And just wait for the best one to come along. And then when a really good one comes along, I'm 36 years old. I'm with a stream platform. I could be a billionaire by then. And like a really good one comes along. She's 25 years old, 26 years old. She's got everything that I'm looking for. She's done, I don't know, 6 years in a law firm or in finance or something. She's really established, really intelligent woman. She's been out, done some partying, whatever. Still has a relatively low body count. She's had a couple of failed relationships, but she's just lived a good life. And you're now settling down with her, who's the whole package. She's got everything at once. And yet, like 2 years ago, she was off the market. She was with the love of her life. They were going to settle down forever. They were going to get married. Look, 2 years later, it failed. She's back on the market. She's now with me. I want to drive that point home to you guys. Okay? Because a lot of you are living in this fearful mindset. And it fucks you up because you make rash decisions. You go, I need to get married. I'm 27, the dangerous age that I spoke about. I'm 27. I'm going to be 30 soon. Nobody's going to want me. I need to get married. I need to have some kids. My dick's probably not even going to work next year. It's like, stop, relax, enjoy yourself, okay? And as I started the video, when I said that, women do fade quicker than men. It's the truth. But any woman who takes care of herself is going to look more beautiful for longer. There's going to come a point. A great example is Catherine Zeta-Jones. Okay, Monica Bellucci. Two of the most beautiful women that have ever lived. It don't look that good anymore. Okay, but up to about the age of like 35, 40, they were still stunning. Okay, they're still beautiful today, but it's like it's not on the level that it once was. But up to like 35, 40, they were still pretty stunning. Okay, and they're massive rarities. But women do age quicker than men, or it doesn't. Here's the thing, I spoke about that youthful kind of submissiveness, the soft skin, the rosy red lips, they've got like the red cheeks, whatever. It's just, everything's just a little bit more youthful and submissive, like I said, right? It sounds weird when you talk about it. It sounds like a fetish or some shit. It's hard to talk about. And then they age and, they become more defined, more experienced, which is great. They're attractive features if she's still beautiful. But what I'm saying is they're masculine things. If a man gets a little bit older, gets some grey hairs, gets some wrinkles, but he's got a nice house, nice car, he's got a great job. For a woman, it's like, this is great. Okay, he's looking like a father. He's looking like a husband. That's somebody who can raise my kids. Like we'll say about women, she's sexy, she's youthful, she's beautiful. Her skin feels soft. Whereas from a woman's perspective, she's not interested in, young, handsome boys. Like you'll hear girls say this all the time. They'll get a little bit older. They might get to like 28 and they'll see a guy who's like 18. I had this. I was a little pretty boy when I was like 18. And I used to go out, see a woman that was like 28 years old. I'd be all over her, trying to chat her up, trying to get her back. And she was like, look, you're really handsome. You're going to grow up to be like a real good-looking man. But she was like, but not now. She was like, you're gorgeous. If I had a younger sister, it'd be great. I'd set you up. She was like, but it's not for me. So they can find you attractive, but not... Sorry, they can think you're good-looking, but you're not attractive. Or they can think you're good-looking, but you're not sexy. They'd like to look at you, but they don't want to date you. There's no future with you. How's he going to raise my kids? There's a different mindset with men and women. Okay, we're looking for that youthfulness, the beauty, the submissiveness. I'll help you out, babe. The soft skin, the soft lips, the rosy cheeks. The bright eyes and bright skin and stuff like that. Whereas women are looking at a guy who's a little bit more established. He's got some muscle on his frame. He can protect the family. He can provide for us. He's got some money in the bank. There's a difference. There's a massive difference. And we've got so much time. We've got so much time. You know, that male advantage goes on for a long, long time. But I don't think I've ever explained it in this sense. I don't think I've ever explained it to you guys that, like, there's options for a man who's at a high level, whatever stage you get to. Like, some of the pictures I brought up of some of those women that were aged, like, 26 up to, I think, like, 33. I think you guys will agree, we would all sleep with every single one of them. You know, we would also sleep with the younger women that I brought up on screen. And it might look better, feel better, whatever. But in terms of a relationship, you know, in terms of actually having some substance, and it's not just like, look at this pretty young thing that I've got on my arm. It's like, look at this beautiful woman who I've got on my arm, who I'm proud of, that I can have a conversation with, who I believe is going to be the mother of my children, who I want to build a life with, who, you know, she makes me better. She's a life partner. She helps me through certain things. Like, that's perfect. Okay? Which is why you don't need to rush. You don't need to be, for example, in my scenario, a 30-year-old man going, fuck, I need to settle down with one of these like 21-year-olds now. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to be over the hill soon and I'm not going to be able to get one. I'm not sure anymore that I want one. It sounds rude, doesn't it? It sounds like a product, okay? But I just need to speak about it like this for you guys to understand. I'm not looking to offend anybody here. The women across the board is, you know, stunning of all ages. Like, I did mention that. But you'll get to, like I said, my age, and then you move forwards. You might get to 35, 36 years old. You get with a 26-year-old woman who's still beautiful, who's established, who, you know, dresses a lot better than she used to. And you're like, wow, I find this stupidly attractive now. That's the stage I'm at, okay? Do I think a young 21-year-old woman is beautiful? Let's go even younger. Do I think a 19-year-old beautiful woman is sexy? Yeah. You know, would I love to sleep with her? Yeah. And it's not all, but they're really annoying. They're really annoying, and it's not their fault. I'm sure to a 19-year-old guy, she's really fun. But to me, I'm like, yeah, this isn't it, is it? It's not working on the same level. Whereas the women that are like my age, that I'll date, sleep with, hang around with, I'm like, God, this would be perfect. But that age gap isn't in place, and I just think I'm going to keep getting better. And it's not necessarily that she won't keep getting better. She probably will as a woman, as a human, as a person, which is great. But I just don't want to wake up one morning with 2 kids who need me, and I look at their mum and I'm like, I just don't find you attractive anymore. Because that fucks up the home, okay? So my videos get taken out of context into clips, okay? And people are like, he's a misogynist, he's this, whatever. I think you guys will see there that I'm actually morally quite switched on. And I'm trying to protect the woman and the kids there. I'm trying to make sure each party doesn't get hurt. That's a lot of where my logic comes from, okay? But the other 50%, the other side, is making sure that you guys get into a long-term relationship. You might marry. I don't agree with it, but you might marry. You might have kids with this woman, which I do massively agree with. I think family's the most important thing at the correct age. But what I don't want you guys to do is then go through a divorce and fuck up, you know, everything, or split up and lose half of your net worth, if not more. You know, or try and settle down too early, and then you can't become successful, or you can't do it at the rate you wanted to do it at. Because I've put 400, it's now about 450,000 back into this business since April. I've put countless hours in. A lot of you guys who are 28 years old, for example, with kids, or let's use my age to make it fair, you might be 30 years old with kids. You can't do that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't do what I do. You can't put as much money in as I can. You haven't been able to do that for the last 10 years. You haven't been as selfish as I've been able to be. I can still then have what you've got. Okay, so it's just playing it correctly at the right speed, at the right, you know, timing is everything. Timing is everything. And I personally think if a man is in his ultimate peak, and I think ultimate peak, and as I've always said, from 35 to around about 39, it makes sense within that age bracket for him to settle down with a woman who is also in her absolute peak, which I previously thought was about 22. But that's the thing, the Daily Mail released something on this, and the data was, this is when women are most attractive to men. That's not peak. That's not peak. Peak is the collective for me. Now, is beauty a massive factor in that? Yes, probably 10 times more so than, you know, a handsome man, okay? It works differently. But at the same time, nobody wants to be with an idiot. You don't want a beautiful airhead who annoys you. You don't want a woman who goes to cook you a dinner, sets the fucking kitchen on fire, and it was only beans on toast anyway. Do you see what I mean, guys? If you're gonna... I can't have my sons and daughters being with a fucking moron. So that tells me how much time we have as men. Now, you might meet the one along the way before that. You might meet who you believe is the one. And I've always said to you guys, there is no one, because there's not. But there might be the one for you at that time that was the right scenario and whatever. That's the one that you end up having kids with. There's, you know, there might be multiple. Hopefully there's just one, because then it's worked. But the one you end up choosing to, you know, do all this stuff with, you know, you move in, you have kids, you make a life with, you know, you build something with. If that is... You know, you don't want that to be, like I said, some 19-year-old airhead. Which, not all 19-year-old girls are. And it's not necessarily the airhead factor. It's the lack of life experience. It's the lack of know-how. It's knowing when to say something and when not. It's, you know, those little life skills you pick up along the way as a man. It's experience. That's what it is, just life experience. I told you guys life experience is a skill. It's the same for women. It's a skill as well, okay? You know, I'm at an age now where I find... hard work attractive in a woman. If I see her working hard, if I hear her voice and she's very well spoken and articulate with a nice accent, I'm like, hey, that's really attractive, because I can be around that for the next 30-40 years without getting annoyed. If I know she's from a really good home, a real, you know, strong family, good morals, good values, her sisters are all married and they've settled down, you know, and the mum like kind of preaches good morals to the daughters and whatever, and you know she dresses conservatively, then you're going to be like, hey, this is probably a good woman. I find those things attractive now. Do I still want a beautiful woman? Of course. But like, look at Leonardo DiCaprio, for example. He's enjoying himself, yeah, but what people are saying, oh, he's getting rid of these women once they turn 25 and then he's going back to the pool again to get another one. He's probably just getting irritated. He's probably just got the wrong strategy. Now, he's probably enjoying the hell out of these women, which is why he doesn't have to stop. He's still dating young women, which is, you know, fun for him. But if he ever wants to settle down, he will pick into that upper bracket of women. He'll go for a 25, 26-year-old woman if he wants to settle down and have kids, etc. But probably because, you know, he's getting tired of these younger women. He's dating them for a bit and then he's going, you're annoying me now. You're like, this doesn't work for moving forward to the next stage. Okay, so I think that pretty much sums up everything, guys. But just, you know, as a final summary, I just want to let you guys know, as men, we have so much time. And like women will constantly come back on the market. Now, is there a crazy body count limit that a woman can be over and you're kind of like, oh God, so like I can't settle down with this woman? Of course there is, right? But I think guys in this generation, they're scared of a woman as a body count of like 7 over like 15 years. Do you know what I mean? Let's say she started at like 15, she gets to 30 and she's got a body count of 7. And they're like, she's such a hoe. That's madness. It's madness. And like Alicia said when she came on the podcast, this really changed my mindset. And a lot of you younger guys won't understand it yet, but it really did change my mindset. Not completely. You know, in terms of like, I'll go for any woman with a body count of 200. But like, it made me consider some different things where she said she isn't, now as a woman it's different, but she said she isn't worried about body count at all because the people that you've slept with have made you into who you are today. And I obviously like you because of the experiences that you've had and how you've got to this point has made you who you are. I thought that was very profound. I thought it was a fantastic point. Great podcast too, a great woman. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. But yeah, that's food for thought there, guys. It's something different, especially if you're trying to find a life partner. Now, you know, you could settle down with a woman who is like 28 years old and you're 38 and it's perfect. You have kids together. She's the woman of your dreams. There was a time where she was in an abusive relationship and she was sticking with this guy who was an absolute dick. He was a moron. He used to hit her. But she was younger and she didn't understand shit. She was just locked in this relationship and she broke up with him, went and did some crazy stuff, you know, and whatever. But now she's older. She's your dream woman. And you're like, she's been molded into that dream woman from her life experiences and the stuff she did. Am I going to hold that past against her? I don't know the answer for you. I don't know. Now, it could be too much. We all have our own limits. But I'm just saying, if she's your perfect woman and you're about to have a family with her and everything, and it's going to make you happy, you know, it is like, one or two minor incidents where you're like, oh, I don't like the thought of that. Is that so much of a problem? Is that so much of a problem if she's now a different person? I used to go out and get drunk 3 nights a week, and I used to throw up everywhere. And I used to masturbate and watch porn non-stop. And I'm not that person today, thankfully. Is it not possible that a woman can change as well? And this is why I think that bracket from like 24, 25 up to 29 is just perfect. It's ideal. And like I said, guys, if you're enjoying your life, you're working on your money, you're just not ready to settle down yet, and you get to fucking 45 years old, and you start dating a 33-year-old woman, and she's as beautiful as some of those women I brought up on screen earlier. I think one of them's 33. I can't remember. You know, you settle down with her. It's a great life. It's a great life too. Now, will she be a little bit too old to have kids and all this stuff? I've looked into these studies before. Apparently, like the best age apparently is like 31. You know, in terms of conceiving, it's like 25 and under. Okay, but in terms of your kid having the best possible life, so if the woman stayed healthy, she goes to the gym, she doesn't drink alcohol, she stays fit, because those figures are based on average people. And as I've told you guys before, average people are bums. You can't take, you know, advice off them. You can't use them as statistics, because we're trying to be outlier males, where there's going to be outlier females that have lived differently. She could be 32 years old and her body is healthier than a 25-year-old woman who's gone out and got drunk every night of the week and has abused her body. So she's able to conceive easily. But what she also is more experienced and more level-headed, where she's going to be a better mother. So your kid's going to be raised correctly. Your kid's going to be raised in the right way. This is all food for thought. You know, I don't know what your strategy might be, but I'm just saying, as I get older, I realize, fuck, I've got even more time than I thought I did. Way more time, because, you know, and this is a major benefit of it as well, guys, okay? When you're, let's say you're a 24-year-old guy and you're trying to sleep with this 22-year-old girl. The level of competition at 24 for a man is massive. Now, if you're a 34-year-old guy 10 years later, and you've been through the great male filter, the video that I spoke about before when I first moved into this property, and the woman you're trying to, so you're 34 and the woman you're trying to date is 26 years old, well, she's pissed off. Because she's like, well, I'm 26 and I need somebody who's established. And all the guys up to about 29, 30 years old, they're kind of bums. A lot of them have gained weight. They don't look like they used to. Some of them, their hair's fallen out and they don't look as good as they used to. But they haven't compensated in other areas by like going to the gym, building up their life, becoming more established. They haven't done that transition from a boy to a man. You know, the way I did it, if you want to go back and look at my old videos. My hair fell out. I've got obviously SMP now, but my hair fell out. And I built myself up in 100 different areas, and now I'm better than I was before. Which means that the level of competition, once you get to the age that I'm at now, is very fucking low. Is very low, because what women are looking for is, you know, why can't I find a guy who, let's say she's 26 and she's stunning. She's the best catch in any room she goes into, because she's got that collective. She's in her ultimate peak right now, where she's got everything collectively. She's trying to look for that one-in-a-lifetime guy. All the guys up to the age of, let's say 29 or under her age, pretty much piss poor broke. They're trying hard to climb that ladder, but they're struggling. All the guys that are 30 and above that she seems to meet are out of shape, and she doesn't find them attractive because they haven't worked on themselves. You know, they might have money, but they haven't, you know, realized, hey, the male advantage is coming. I need to make sure I stay in shape here. And then you come along, you're some 34-year-old guy who's in shape, still looks good, dresses well, is mature, you know, has his life together, has his nice house, nice car, has his own money, etc. She's going to be like, well, fuck, there's like one of these guys that's come along in the last fucking 6 months for me. This is fantastic. You know, I have to be with this guy. And you're going to get that effect with a lot of women. Now, if you get to like 45 and you're still in shape, you look good and you're established and you've got serious money, I mean, guys, it's like any woman probably 28 years old and above is yours as a guarantee. Women in their 30s just tick, 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 tick. Because it's just not many. As you get older, most guys fall off. They're just not at that level that they need to be. And most guys also that she would be dating that are in their 30s would have kids. So it's just like the older you get as a man, the just easier it becomes. You know, it's you just get even better scenarios. You get these women when they're at their ultimate peak. And I like I said, I'll hold my hands up. I always thought that would be 19, like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. But like I said, they don't have the personality. They don't have the life skills. They don't have their own shit going on. It's that other bracket. So we've got even more time than we thought. And like I said, perfect example. If you're a 45-year-old guy dating 32, 33-year-old women, some of the beauties that I brought up on screen, you're killing it. You're killing it. You're having a great life. You know, with somebody who's a little bit more mature that you can relate to, that you can build a life with, that you can plan stuff out with. She's got no kids and she's stressing because for her it's a stress. Okay, for a woman it's different. And she's 32 years old and she's going, fuck, I've got no kids. I really want to settle down. Like, this is a bit of a problem here. You know, I'm a high-level woman. I just can't find anybody on my level. And all the guys that are on my level, I just don't find attractive. So then you come along as this 45-year-old stud. You know, you still look young as fuck. You still look unbelievable. You're in great shape. Got assets, all the money in the world. You're experienced, mature. And she's all over you. So now you've got, you know, this unbelievable woman that ticks every single box. You could build a family. You can have kids. It's a great age to... People will be, oh, you're too old to have kids at that point. Not if you stay in shape, man. But also, those kids are going to get taught by two very mature individuals. Now, should you wait that long? I probably won't. I'm going to wait until, I think, 35 to 39, I'm going to have my kids. I'm going to settle down and have my kids at that age, I think. I think that makes sense. Business-wise, everything. I think that's the perfect timing. But like I said, I could be a 39-year-old man with a 28-year-old woman who I can relate to. And I'm like, this works perfectly. And she still is unbelievably stunning. You know, let's bring up one of the 28-year-olds on screen now. I think one of them was at least 28. If there's not, I'll find one, or I'll get one roughly around that age. If I'm settling down with the woman that's on screen now, who I assume is beautiful, you know, because they all were from the ones I put up, and she's got a fantastic personality and we get on well, and I'm 39, I'm established, I've had my fun, I've enjoyed my life, where's the problem there? That sounds way better than settling down with a 19-year-old who's doing little things like going to the club, wearing a short skirt, flirting with guys to make you jealous, to see your reaction, press a few buttons. I want a woman who's past all that stage. I want a woman who's like 10 times less crazy than she was when she was 20. Okay, like that I think is where it's at, guys. And this is a completely different video, and I don't feel like once I've waffled, which makes a change. I feel like all of this has substance. All of this is important. Guys my own age will understand this. Guys who are younger, you won't get it yet, okay? But you will as you move forward. But all I need is for you to know it. And if you know it, you can put the right things in place now, okay? And this isn't a pitch. I mean, you don't have to go and get it. But my book, The Male Advantage, that's what that was all about. It was the it's on the front, the step-by-step blueprint to reach an outlier male status. Male life is all about timing. I've made videos on this before as well. You have to get that timing right. If you get that timing right, everything clicks into place. It's logic over love. I need to do a full video on that at some point. But logic over love, and then you let the love happen. Okay, if you lead with love, you can meet somebody, you know, who drives you crazy. And she doesn't have to be young either, but you meet somebody who's your perfect woman, she drives you crazy, you're like, oh, the sex is amazing, this is great. But you're from different faiths, from different religions, and her parents put a stop to it. Her sister steps in. I've had that about 20 fucking times. That is logic beating out love. Didn't work. Okay? It was wrong timing. You weren't as successful as you needed to be yet. You needed to move on. That's logic over love. You could be in love with that person, and we've all heard the phrase, right person, wrong time. Right person, wrong scenario. You know, it happens. So the first thing you need to tick in every scenario, if you want to be happy, is the logic. The age gap is sufficient. Everything works. She's still young and beautiful. She still has X amount of years. Everything that I'm doing there is logic, guys. It's ticking the correct boxes. It's getting the timing right. Am I established? Am I in a position where, you know, I can do a great job with my kids? Am I in the right location? Or like, you could meet your perfect woman in the place that you live right now, but you know you're moving to fucking Miami in 2 years. And you're like, well, fuck, if she don't want to come with me, then it kind of ruins the whole thing, doesn't it? It didn't. Do you see what I mean? Logic. Tick the logic boxes first, and then the love can follow. And a lot of guys are fucking that up. And I need to make a separate video on this soon, but And I'll go deep into detail on why in the video. I don't want to ruin it. But having the ability to attract women and finding the best one to have kids with and making sure your finances are okay, along with health, are there 3 more important things on planet Earth? No. As long as you've got those 3 boxes ticked and you know how to navigate them, you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy, okay? Nobody's ever commit suicide because they broke their phone. Nobody's ever fallen into depression because the tap fell off their bath when they were running it. You know, people fall into depression because they can't attract a woman. They fall into depression because they've got no money. They commit suicide because they went through a divorce. You know, it didn't work out. These 2 factors are so important. So important. Never undervalue them. And this is why I talk about them so much. And that is why I make videos like this in such depth of detail, because I know you guys are going to face these problems moving forward in the future. And like I said, if you can tick these boxes now, you can deploy the logic. You can get the timing right. If you can understand what I now understand about having a woman that is collective, she's in her female advantage, which is, you know, she's got everything at once. Probably 25, 26 might be the peak of that. Well, then great. You know, that's who I want to be with. I want to be a woman. I want to be with a woman who matches me. She's at my level, but she still has 10 to 15 years left of being absolutely beautiful. You know, that helps. Now you can maximize that. You can go a few years younger and whatever, but then you lose something else. You know, you lose the experience, the conversations, the relatability. She wants to go out and party and you're like, I just want to kind of stay in and just have a cup of tea and just watch a film. Do you know what I mean? The age gap can be too great. The differential in what you want in life can be too big. So, you know, I'm going to wrap up here, guys, but I think that message has been pushed across to you all. If you're still watching, and I should probably put this in somewhere in the video. I might have to, I don't know. Either way, I'll make it in the next video. The new testosterone supplement is ready. It's in stock. It'll be listed in stock in 2-3 days. And you guys will see why I've made it. I've written a whole thing about it, and I'll do a video on it very soon. But it's actually going to be $24.99, so it's back to what the lifestyle supplement used to be. So now we've got a differential. So for the guys who just want to boost testosterone and, you know, are going through a bulk, just want to boost muscle, that's a supplement for you. If you just want something to take every day, lifestyle supplement. So it's going to ease the stress on the lifestyle supplement because it's going out of stock far too quickly. We're seeing like 1,000 units go out the door every month. This is going to ease the pressure because it's the problem with a one-fits-all strategy is everybody uses it. Okay, and if you don't have the stock, do you see what I mean? You run out of stock quickly. When I don't have stock, I'm not earning money from that supplement. That's not good. So if I bring another product in as like a, what do you call it? Like a relief basin. When rivers flood and whatever, they create a relief basin. That's basically what this product is. Now, is it effective? Does it work? Is it a great product? Has it fit a niche? Yeah, it ticks all those boxes. But for me, it's my relief basin so that the lifestyle supplement doesn't go out of stock every fucking 20, 30 days or so. Okay, because it's chaos. I'm having to order like 5 to 10,000 units next just to stay in stock. And I'm trying to get this product on Amazon too. So that's going to sell out 10 times quicker. Like, it's tough. So we needed something, like I said, like a relief basin, okay? It's nice to touch in, guys. You know, old school type of video. It's the type of one I used to make on a Friday night. Back in the day when I was in that cold garage. And yeah, feels good to be back. I hope everyone's well. I'll speak to you guys soon. Good luck with everything you're doing as always. I'll speak to you soon.